One transfer every Premier League team needs to make in January. We'll go through the Prem table in reverse order. Let's go. Wolves have scored 8. Yes, 8 goals this season. They're comfortably the worst team in the Premier League for goals scored. Personally, I would like to target a forward. My option would be Matheus Cunha. You can play across the front three and give Wolves some real options up front. They have to do something, and he feels like the best option. Southampton. Southampton were one of the teams I covered prior to the season. They excite me, but they're a very young team overall. Zunu isn't quite ready for the role yet, and I think therefore they need to target a goalkeeper. I would look to target a man who had a stellar World Cup, Livakovic. The 27-year-old from Dinamo Zagreb would help Southampton massively in between the sticks, and that would solve a lot of their problems. Now the last of the relegation sides, Nottingham Forest. This one I'm going to keep fairly simple. Don't. This is one of the teams that I just do not want to see spend any money this window. They spent enough in the summer, and I think they need to let those players settle in. I was forced to pick a player for this Forest side. It would be Decoria of Everton, but otherwise just leave this team alone and let it figure itself out. Everton, Sarr. Just Ismaila Sarr. He was very good this World Cup for a very underperforming Senegalese team. Everton needs more healthy forwards, and after Richarlison left and Dominic Calvert-Lewin has spent the majority of the season and the majority of a lot of his seasons injured, they need another option. West Ham, struggling from their success. They set the bar high last year and they have struggled a ton this year. Personally, I think they need to attack right back. Celtics, Josip Juranovic would be my option, with Aaron Wan-Bissaka also being another alternative option. Juranovic seems like a no-brainer to me. He'll add the defensive strength that is so required for this West Ham team. And I think once they add that defensive strength, this solid team filled with lots of talent will be able to find its form yet again. Leeds need a centre-back, and they need to bring him in now. Mason Holgate would be my option. Be a big piece for this Leeds side, and a couple of clean sheets for Leeds, and I think they'll catapult themselves up the table. Won't be particularly expensive, and he will help them massively. Newly promoted AFC Bournemouth. Bournemouth have exceeded expectations in most areas. However, they could do with more creativity off of the wing. For this reason, I would add Stade Rennais' Benjamin Beauregard. The winger has a GA of 6 so far this season and could provide some well-needed support up top for a fairly cheap price. Leicester. They've started to figure it out after a horrible start, but they are weak in the midfield still and they need to strengthen. But what better than a breakout World Cup star? 22-year-old Moroccan star Unani would be my pick. Based on his performances at the world stage, he looks primed for a move to a Premier League club, and I think Leicester could be the spot for him. Aston Villa. Unai Emery just took over for Villa, and although he can work some magic, he cannot work miracles. He needs more defenders for this mid-table side, and I would suggest him grabbing one of his old players. I would look to pick up Pau Torres from Villarreal. Spaniard has been linked with Premier League clubs for the last couple of seasons, but it hasn't materialised. In order for him to move out of the comfort zone, I think he should move to an old manager of his at Aston Villa in the Premier League. Crystal Palace. Common theme of today. Defenders, and Palace need one, specifically a right back. I would choose Manchester United's Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Aaron Wan-Bissaka needs somewhere to play week in and week out. He's shown in flashes just how good he can be, especially on the defensive side. He's a defensive superstar and can really provide some much needed support for this defence. Brentford, they're fine for right now, but how long will they be? There's a decent possibility that Ivan Toney could face some suspensions for his betting allegations. For these reasons, I would go out and grab some sort of forward in this window. And I'm going to put forward yet another World Cup star and another Moroccan, En-Nesyri. I think he could be the answer for a worrisome-looking Brentford attack that could be ravaged without Ivan Toney. Another high-flying promoted team. The signing of Kevin Mbabu hasn't really worked out thus far for Fulham. Therefore, I would look towards other options in this window. Roma's Rick Karsdorp would be my suggestion. They need something to work in that spot, and I think he'll help them keep flying as a team. Long way down the table so far for Chelsea. An egregiously underperforming Chelsea team under Graham Potter has to step things up. They have a lot to do and they need to attack this January transfer window. Without a strong window, they could be in a world of bother come the summertime and the end of the season. So I'm going to put forward a player I linked with them in July. He had an incredible World Cup campaign aside from the semi-final, and his stock is just rising and rising and rising, and so is his price tag. They have to get Josko Vardiol, and they have to get him now. Brighton. No Potter, no problem. They're going to have to work their socks off to maintain their high-level performances so far. And therefore, I think they could do with a new goal scorer. And a young one at that. Not a Danny Welbeck who's getting way past it at this point. So I would put forward David Dato Fofana from guess where but Molde. And we all know just how good some FC Molde strikers have been. Liverpool, poor start, but they're clawing it back. They've pulled themselves back to 6th place so far, and they're another Big Six side that just has to attack the window. They need midfield strength after only getting Arthur in the summer. I would go and grab another Serie A midfielder, and he would go by the name of Benassa. They need more help in the midfield, and an experienced yet promising player in Benassa would be the perfect solution. My Manchester United Red Devils. There are many ways I could go with this Erik Ten Hag team. However, the biggest place I would go is actually kind of alone. No more CR7 and an injury-riddled Anthony Martial leaves them with very few options up front. They have to go and get Joao Felix. He is hating it at Atleti and needs a move away. A group of young and talented forwards at Manchester United just need a goal scorer to put away those chances. They have issues elsewhere, including Jadon Sancho, but that's another video entirely that you can go and watch separately after this one. Tottenham are a fairly well-built team. Currently sat in the Champions League spots, they have to continue their good form. Their biggest need in my eyes would be an attacking-minded midfielder. My choice would be 22-year-old Mohamed Kudus from Ajax. A solid young baller that is ready for a higher challenge. Be a fantastic support player for the likes of Kulusevski, Kane, Richarlison and Son. Newcastle. The house team is flying. They're playing incredibly well, and it'll be interesting to see if they can close the deal at the end of the season. He's a player I've already mentioned today, but is a necessary addition for this Newcastle team. They need more midfielders, so attacking Morocco's Unani makes perfect sense. Manchester City. They'll be upset they're only in second place so far, and so it wouldn't surprise me if Pep looks to make some improvements in the January window. I'm not sure if I could specifically name a place I'd go. They're such a well-built team with so many options everywhere. However, if I had to pick a place, it would be midfield. And as much as it pains me to say, the name I would put forward would be Jude Bellingham. He would dominate in the Prem, and he has already thrived at the World Cup, in the Bundesliga, and even in the Championship as a 16-year-old. He showed just how good he was at the World Cup for England despite his youth and inexperience, and dominated an England side. Arteta's Arsenal. Jesus may be out for a couple of months, leaving them only with Eddie Nketiah. Instead of being able to look into the midfield like they would have liked to, they're going to have to bring in a new forward to play while he's out and support Jesus in the future. Gakpo has shown again and again and again. For PSV and for the Netherlands, he seems ready for the Premier League, and I think he would thrive. That's all for today, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.